Good morning, everyone. Okay, so if you're at home today and we're missed my lesson, or you just want to go back and review, then here is what we learned today. All right, moving on to day 3 of slope. You need to know these things for today's task. The most important thing that you guys can remember is slope is equal to the rise over the run. So what that means is how far up or how far down is your line going? And then how far to the right or how far to the left is the next point on your graph. Now, we've just been calling it slope, but we're going to learn something new today. Instead of using the word slope, we're going to use the letter M. So notice that first it says slope equals rise over run, and then right underneath that, it says M equals rise over run, because slope is often referred to as letter M. Why? We don't really know. But you're going to see from now on in math that anytime that somebody is referring to slope, they're going to use the letter M. But two thoughts were that monter means to climb. Monter means to climb in French. And also slope is called modulus of slope sometimes. All right. So remember from what we learned the very first day is that slope is equal to the change in y over the change in x. 0 over x. So if you have no change in y, if the next point on your line does not go up or down, you're going to have a horizontal line. If the change in y is 0, your line is going to be horizontal. If the change in x is 0, then you're going to have a vertical line, and that's defined as no slope. So let's go back up to 0, change in y. That's going to be a horizontal line. Or no change in x, that's going to be a vertical line, referred to as no slope or undefined. All right, so this delta symbol means change in y divided by the change in x. So that's how we're going to solve, just like we have been. Remember that if you have a positive slope, it means that your line is going up in y and moving to the right in x. So if I draw an example of that, let me find a different color now. Okay, so that means that the change in y, remember y is the vertical axis, a positive slope means that the line is going up and moving to the right. So if we're going from this point to this point, we're going up and moving to the right. If your slope is negative, that means that your slope is going down. So if I choose 2 random points on this line, that means that your point is moving to the right, but your y is dropping down. Okay, so instead of going up, it's going to be going down. So today's task is to draw a line from a point and the slope. So if I give you 1 point and I give you the slope, you should be able to make another point and then connect those 2 points to draw a line. So let's go through these steps one at a time. Step number 1, plot the point. Okay, so up here, let me highlight. So if the slope equals 1, and I know I have a point at 4, -2. So I'm going to come down here to my graph, make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to move to the right 4, and then I'm going to drop down to -2. Okay, so step number 1, plot the point. Step number 2, use the numerator of the slope to move up or down. Keep any negatives in the numerator and only use the negative once. Let me read that again. Use the numerator of the slope. So when I'm doing this from a point, I like to actually write the slope. If the slope equals 1, then I like to put that over the number 1. So what that tells me is that my slope is going to be going, or my next point is going to be up 1 and right 1. So from this point, if I go up 1 and right 1, then my next point will be here. Now, as long as you have 2 points, you can go ahead and draw your line. Like that. Okay. Rule number 3, use the denominator to move right or left. It should always be right. So you're always going to move right. The only difference is you'll go up for a positive slope, you'll go down for a negative slope. And the last step is connect your points, use a straight edge, and draw your arrows on the end of your line. All right, so the next assignment is to do some examples. There are 8 examples that you're going to upload. It's called Slope Day 3 Examples. You're going to try those on your own. And then I've created another video going through how you should have solved those. So after you do those independently, then you can go ahead and watch the video. It'll be a pretty quick video to check and see how you did on the Day 3 examples. All right, make sure and email if you need any help.